Now, viewers, after oil companies had hiked the prices of domestic LPG cylinders, the government has slashed LPG cylinder quotas now under the Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala scheme. The centre has reduced the number of subsidized cooking gas cylinders for the beneficiaries of the Ujjwala initiative from 9 to 4 LPG refills per year. Now, the scheme had been launched in 2016 in the month of May, and beneficiaries were entitled to 12 subsidized LPG cylinders per year. The quota was subsequently reduced to 9. In August last year, it's now been cut further down to 4. Now, this is primarily due to the ongoing West Asia crisis. And to promote cleaner cooking fuel, the government introduced a targeted subsidy of 200 per 14.2 kilograms of LPG cylinder in May 2022, which used to get credited to the beneficiary's bank account directly after the refill purchase. The subsidy amount was later increased to 300 per cylinder in October 2023. And the government says that the Ujjwala households will continue to receive 300 per cylinder on the first 4 refills this year. Now, this means that 1,200 per year will be given to every beneficiary of Ujjwala. Earlier, the benefit was known to be around 2,700 rupees per year. Now, this is clearly an additional burden. There were over 10.58 crore Ujjwala connections. Here's how the centre is now defending this particular increase. It also says that as part of its defense, the average consumption of Ujjwala households is 4 cylinders on a yearly basis. That 300 rupees subsidy on 4 refills had been provided to as many as 10.58 crore beneficiaries of the scheme. The Indian cooking gas prices are among the lowest in the world, and that OMCs are losing 700 rupees on each LPG refill of a cylinder that is 14.2 kilograms. And Ujjwala beneficiaries still receive a 60% discount. That's what the government has said. And that Ujjwala refill price for the first 4 cylinders is rupees 642. The opposition has now renewed its inflation man Modi attack on the Prime Minister himself, saying that this is the Prime Minister's gift to the poor women of India.
देश को कहां खड़ा कर दिया ला करके, बहुत बुरा हाल है। 12 साल के अंदर पूरा देश बेहाल है। जो कुछ बनाया था सब तो बेच दिया, कुछ छोड़ा तो नहीं। देश की अर्थव्यवस्था गोते खा रही है, आम आदमी की जेब कट रही है। रोज तेल के दाम बढ़ेंगे, गैस के दाम बढ़ेंगे, लोगों को खर्च चलाना मुश्किल हो रहा है। इस तरफ ध्यान ना जाए, बस नए नए मुद्दे बताते रहेंगे। सरकार ने अब तक सर्वदलीय मीटिंग तो बुलाई नहीं कि इस गंभीर संकट के सामना करने के लिए आप सर्वदलीय बैठक बुलाओ, आज तक वो तो बुलाई नहीं, तो क्या बताएं?
Yeah, this government was taking pride in this Ujjwala Yojana scheme that we are supporting all poor families. But now they have reduced the number of cylinders, which means normally a cylinder comes for 1 month for a house. So now since they have reduced the cylinder number, the people are going to get affected. They were taking pride in it. I don't know why they have done that. The government should do something with the people. The government is there to support people, particularly poor people. But this government doesn't care about it.
Now, the government sources have suggested that extra cylinders had actually been diverted for commercial use, and that's why this decision has now been taken on the part of the centre. So that's what government sources are telling your channel, that the average number of Ujjwala refills is actually 4, that the move is currently now being aimed at curbing cylinder diversion, which they claim was something that was being done earlier. They've also said that some unscrupulous elements were diverting these refills, that extra refills were being diverted for commercial use, and therefore capping quota at 4 cylinders is to help check diversion. So that's the claim now coming from sources within the government. Let me go across to my colleague Pragya, who will take us through more details. Now, by way of sources, the government is explaining the reasons for its decision, saying that as far as the 9-cylinder cap was concerned, a lot of the cylinders there that were being availed from the Ujjwala scheme were actually being diverted by certain alleged beneficiaries towards commercial use. And therefore, the government has decided to take this step. That's the clarification coming from the centre. Take us through the details of what the centre is trying to explain here, Pragya.
Well, Siddharth, there are 2 points here. First, diversion of the cylinders under PMUy Yojana, the beneficiaries that get. In fact, to make a quick buck, there was also allegations that many of the beneficiaries are giving it for the commercial use. Secondly, the price of LPG has gone 46% up. Remember, the LPG price, is based on the Saudi contract price, which is a global benchmark, and there is a rise of 46% in that, owing to the closure of Strait of Hormuz. And with the war going on, and there is no certainty when it is going to end, there are under recoveries of these companies, which is amounting to 600 to 700 crore. This is also a problem what the government is facing. The prices are going up, and how much these companies can afford, to take the loss is also one of the consideration. And this is probably the reason why the government has decided that there should be a cap on 4 subsidized cylinders. That does not mean that you cannot buy more cylinders. You can buy more than 4 cylinders, but at the retail price, which is 942. The subsidy that you get is 300 on 14.2 kg cylinder. So for a year, 4 cylinders will be amounting to 642 rupees for any Ujjwala Yojana beneficiary. Having said that, the government is also trying to understand how much is the consumption for these beneficiaries annually. So what they have deduced from their research and from the data they had collated is that each household uses 4 cylinders annually as far as these subsidized cylinders are concerned. And this is the reason why the government has capped it on 4 right now. Okay. This will do 2 things. First, there will be a sustainable and continuous supply to these household beneficiaries. They will get 4 cylinders at least, which they have been getting on the subsidized rate. Secondly, the under recoveries of the companies supplying LPG, will also go down. So it is a win-win situation for the government in that sense. That does not mean that they are saying that there is no availability. There is availability of LPG cylinders. No, but the
number of subsidized LPG cylinders has now been capped to 4. And the reason why the government claims they're taking this particular move is to prevent diversion, as had been the case when certain beneficiaries were availing of 9 subsidized cylinders and diverting it for commercial use. That's the clarification coming from government sources. Thanks for that, Pragya.